Okay, all right, you say so. All right.
Hi, good afternoon,
Good
Mr.
afternoon.
Lula. Could you tell me why you were gathered here with your group outside the Brazilian embassy?
Yes, the MSJ is in solidarity with our colleague partner party, the Workers' Party of Brazil, the PT, and also with its leader, Lula, who was the former president of Brazil. As you know, he was sent to jail when he went in on Saturday, and we made a very extensive statement in solidarity with Lula, and I want to read it because I think we need to know in Trinidad and Tobago what the facts are. We tend only to get information out of the Western wire services and out of the Brazilian media. Of course, the Brazilian media is primarily owned and controlled by the right-wing oligarchs, the elites, the traditional elites, who have always been opposed to Lula and the PT, and who have hated them because of the reforms that they made and so on, that to bring people out of poverty in Brazil. And the wire services coming out of the United States or out of the UK will again be sympathetic to the ruling elites in Brazil. And so the MSJ, standing of course for social justice, we want to bring the facts out to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So this is our statement. It was issued on Friday the 6th of April. The Movement for Social Justice condemns the lawfare against Lula and the PT. We unequivocally condemn the decision to imprison Luis Ignacio Lula de Silva, the former president of Brazil and the leader of the Workers' Party of that country. The MSJ is a member of the Foro Sao Paulo, which is a grouping of progressive and left political parties in Latin America and the Caribbean. And we are one of the very few parties from the English-speaking Caribbean to be a member of the Foro. And we stand in solidarity with the PT. The MSJ has no doubt at all that this decision is consistent, that is his jailing, with the lawfare that is being continuously waged against Lula and the PT over the past several years by the economic elite of Brazil, supported by the right-wing media and sections of the Brazilian political and judicial class that have remained implacably opposed to the transformation of Brazil that took place under the Lula-led PT government. We are very clear, since the re-election of Dilma Rousseff in 2014, there has been waged a political war of a very different type in Brazil. This has been dubbed lawfare, as the ruling elites have used their hold on state institutions to persecute the main leaders of the PT in order to remove them and the PT from the politics of Brazil. These elites are doing so to preserve their own power and privilege. Lula and the PT were obstacles in their way. In the absence of physical warfare, they used lawfare. In Lula's own words, and I'm quoting him, millions of young people in Brazil for the first time got into university. We were the last country in the Americas to create a university institution. We were the last to abolish slavery. We were in the vanguard of backwardness. In 12 years of our government, we managed to guarantee the first generation of Brazilians that did not have hungry children. We brought over 40 million people out of poverty without causing detriment to the social sector, without persecuting anyone. That had never happened in the history of our country. It was possible to use politics to benefit the majorities. It was possible through the state to make public policies of inclusion and promote social justice. We showed that the people know how to govern better than the elites. That is why they hate us. End of quote. In the minds of the elites, it is this progress towards social justice that had to be reversed. Their strategy was to first remove Dilma from the presidency by any means possible. They accomplished that by a parliamentary coup d'etat, using their majority in the Congress to impeach Dilma on trumped-up charges. Simultaneously, the lawfare against Lula began. In the space of 2 years, Lula was subjected to illegal wiretapping. Even his attorneys were wiretapped and their contents made public. 38 search and seize warrants executed against Lula, his family members and colleagues. Multiple investigations into the same allegations, but by different jurisdictions. For example, investigations and or prosecutions by federal prosecutors and state prosecutors of the same alleged charges at the same time. There were some 11 simultaneous investigations against Lula. 2 federal audits of the Lula Institute and his LILS speaking company. The illegal leaking of Lula's banking, tax and other information, as well as that of his family. Detention and a coercive summons to give a statement in spite of previously having given testimony on 5 occasions to the federal police and written testimony twice. It has been noted that the only evidence of wrongdoing presented to the courts against Lula was the testimony of persons already found guilty of corruption in the Operation Car Wash investigation. These persons gave testimony against Lula as part of a plea bargaining deal. In other words, to reduce their own sentence, to help to save their own necks, they gave testimony against Lula. In spite of all the seizures, searches, wiretaps, investigations, there was no other corroborating evidence of wrongdoing by Lula. No evidence of monies in Lula's bank accounts or those of his family that were obtained by way of corruption. No evidence of his having obtained any real estate or other assets. The only real estate he owns is that which he had before becoming president. No evidence of his being involved in corruption with state enterprises such as Petrobras. No evidence of his wrongfully taking possession of gifts given to him as head of state. No evidence again about illegal donations to the Lula Institute or the LILS speaking company. Under Brazilian law, the testimony of a person given under plea bargaining test deal cannot on its own result in the conviction of a person. But this is what the court did to Lula. It was lawfare. The objective was clear. Lula must be stopped from contesting the elections for president of Brazil scheduled for October 2018. The hypocrisy of the elites is so obvious. The current president, Temer, who replaced Dilma, should be in jail for corruption. Evidence against him is clear, but he, like Barabbas, is out free, while Lula has been persecuted. Lula is the clear front-runner in the polls for the presidency. The only person the right wing could find to challenge him is a neo-fascist, Jair Bolsonaro, who, in voting to impeach Dilma, said he did so in the name of the general who tortured Dilma when she was a 19-year-old activist against the dictatorship. Imagine that. Having succeeded in convicting Lula on trumped-up charges, the lawfare has moved to jail him. This, they believe, will stop his candidacy for president and thus enable a right-wing victory at the polls. The neoliberal agenda of economic and social policies started after Dilma's impeachment will then be intensified. Privatizations, massive job losses, increased prices of goods and services from education to health, to transport, to electricity, to water, and the return to poverty of millions of Brazilians, and the entrenching of the old system of huge wealth and income inequality are all key elements of this neoliberal project. Lula himself is absolutely clear about this. He said, and I'm quoting, "I always tell them one thing, never lose hope. Neoliberalism, often sustained by media monopolies, promises of a better future for everyone, but concentrates wealth and restricts the opportunities to a few, always the same people. In Brazil, we proved that we could govern doing the exact opposite, that it was possible to include the poor in the public budget, that we could invest more in education, more in health and housing, put an end to hunger, build dignity, extend rights. They want to wipe out the memory of the people of this period of democratic victories. Today they condemn me, but what they want to condemn is this project and our future as a free, sovereign and just nation. They want to do this, but they will not succeed," end quote. The MSJ says that today we agree with Lula. The right wing will not succeed. Lula will be free. Brazil will once again be a free, sovereign and just nation. Free Lula now. Stop the lawfare. Stop the persecution of the PT. Lula Libre. That is our statement. And we hope that, I know with the